you know, if we look back at what's been happening this last year and a half, so much is sort of, we've been stripped bare, almost feeling like naked, and quite painful to a lot of experiences that have been happening. And yes, if we look at what's been going on with the planets and the alignment and what's been happening right now, there is that, you know, I mentioned about the cocoon and the chrysalis. It is that point at this moment. Some of us are breaking through that, but it's like having to be very brave to reach out. I mean, I've reached out to some people recently that I haven't spoken to, purely because we've been living life and getting on with our things. But I reached out to someone today that I haven't really spoken to. Occasionally text message them, but I haven't really spoken to them for about over a year because of everything that's been going on the planet. And being brave and putting myself out there and actually contacting them, and them too with me. So there's a lot of that going on right now. So for you personally, it's good to hear that stage where you're at, because that has happened to quite a few people, a lot of clients that I've had, that this is the time like to almost break through it. But then when you break through it, there's going to be another layer. Do you know what I mean? So be, not to put a down on it, but be prepared that you're going through so many layers of yourself, of pain or discomfort or feeling vulnerable. There's more ahead to some degree, but it's good that you've felt that and you have moved forward. This is a real period of time where it is that you're going to break through those layers, and you know you've accomplished so much, and then suddenly it might feel that you're going through it again and again. So it's like that rebirthing. It is real rebirthing, and it can be quite painful. So hold on in there, okay? But it is that period at this moment of the rebirthing of the old self coming up. Yes, that's a good question. There is a lot of sensitivity, and you're asking why, and why now and everything. The messages I've been receiving from doing my trance work as well, that the planet needed to make a shift. The planet needed a change. Mankind to move forward, to exist, humanity needed to make a big change, a leap of faith moving forward. And so by bringing up the sensitivities, it's really about your soul being able to really address what it is that you're going through individually. You know, your soul signed up to come here on the planet right now to have this journey. And so by also bringing those figureheads in, those family members into your life right now, is to, like the chess set, you know, one might be playing the pawn, or they're doing the position with the king or the queen or the rook or whatever it is. Those positions that those individuals are playing in your life, your soul's meant to come here so that your soul keeps growing, your soul keeps going through change. But there is this, what I heard was that there was this tiredness, in the sense of that having individuals becoming aware, you know, becoming more intuitive, was at such a slow pace. So by now, the whole planet sort of having to go through this. I mean, you know, if you look back in history, there's been some peak times that this has happened, and this was another cycle of that peak time to move us forward, to connect. I mean, you know, if you think of people calling themselves psychic mediums back in the day, you know, they would be seen as witches, and it was a terrible thing, and burned at the stake or drowned or whatever. Now, thankfully, we're able to express, our voices can be heard to some degree, but still in some parts of the world, you can't express that. You can't say who you are, or you're intuitive or an empath or whatever. It's still that you can't say that. So to have the whole planet at this moment waking up, shaking up the planet, it's important because of the soul growth. You know, through my trance, there was a concern that our planet was really not aligned. A lot of the souls on the planet were not aligned. And to your souls to come back at this time, we needed to be aligned. We're destroying our planet at this moment in time. You know, we're not looking at what we are doing to the planet. We need to make major changes, and that's coming through a lot through my trance. We have to make major changes to the planet. As our course as a planet is going to be destroyed. There is destruction, and that's not doom and gloom. I don't mean it like, and that will happen a long time from, most of us won't see that who are listening to this right now. But for us to live in harmony, we have to have this big shake-up. We have to have this awakening. We have to have this awareness that certain things are happening on the planet, like all the flooding, like drought in certain parts of the world. I mean, some of this is mankind in a way, what we've been doing, but it's just about really looking at, we need to look at what we're doing to our planet right now. The flora and fauna, we're killing off so many species of animals, you know, and that could happen to us if some of the animals don't exist, like the bees. How do we have our crops? We can manufacture it to some degree, but do we want to constantly have GM foods? And it's like our bodies, you know, the cancers that we have, there's so much that's going on that we are destroying our physical self. So there's a lot going on. A lot of people are waking up to the fact how we need to make big changes at this moment in time. And it's a sort of maximum force. I mean, they just showed me like a dial on an amp, that is maximum force at this moment. We have to make these changes for us to move forward. So that's why it's happening now with all the planets, how they've been moved into position. You know, each planet has its personality, has a wave of energy. And if you've got all the planets lined up and where they are at the moment, it's actually amplifying, magnifying and helping individuals to move forward. So that's why it's happening right now. We were so much logical and practical mind that we've lived in the mindset sort of thing. But when we do that, we're then recalling old filing systems from our subconscious, our deep down of old things that happened. So that, you know, there's some clients that I have are telling themselves something that's happened to family members way back. You know, I've got some clients that, you know, they've had, say, there was one in particular where they've had a whole line of family women that it goes back that they've been, they've had domestic violence, you know, some of the women members have been raped. There's this all going on. I mean, this happens in men's side as well, because I've had some male clients who have that as well. So you've got to, when you're looking at with the mind can go into fear quite easily, and it also can be replaying old patterns and old processes from, you know, your family and beliefs that you have, old limiting beliefs. So the idea is not to be so much in the head and in the mind, it's more to be focusing on the heart, feeling into the moment. I know they go hand in hand to some degree, and that's why it's looking at now, you know, many clients, more than I've ever had before, are coming, reaching out to me to see me for therapy, where we look at changing things. I mean, I'm looking at changing even my title and how I do it. I'm really seeing myself more as a soul practitioner or a soul coach right now, not as a typical counsellor, because it's more than that on so many different levels. So really now it's really, they just said it's more of a soul upgrade now, more of a soul upgrade. So yes, from the heart, the frequency is different. And with the heart, you connect more to the divine source and the universe. And it's more about that, working with the heart center than the mind instead of going into fear. I mean, they've often said, my team of guides and through trance, that, you know, we've been programmed to be like the worker ant or the worker bee. You know, we've been told that we have to work in a certain way. We have to be a certain way on the planet. And it's not true. It's not right. It's not real. It's like, in a way, follow the heart. What does the heart want? What does the heart want you to do? Go with the heart more. That's what they say.